Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on into the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. I am the Blue Collar Psychiatrist. Today, I'm going to ask you a question, and then we will investigate it. The question is, are you jealous? Why would I ask such a question? In my travels throughout the years, both within my own mind and observing others, treating others, and dealing with the public at large, I find this topic of jealousy to be one of the most frequent complaints and statements and feelings that people have. Again, I ask you that question. Are you jealous? Are you jealous of other people? Are you jealous that they have certain possessions that you don't have? Are you jealous that they have more money than you? Are they jealous that they have many more significant others in their lives than you? Are you jealous that they have a nicer home than you? Are you jealous that they're smarter than you? Are you jealous that they have more positions of power than you? And as you can see, the list goes on and on and on. This brings up the question, why would you be jealous? The answer is jealousy reflects some personal feelings of inadequacy that you and I have. Think about it. If you're spending your most valuable currency, which is time, on being jealous, then you are really angry with yourself or with God or with whatever. You don't like the status quo. You feel less than someone else of whom you are jealous. Again, we go back to the issue, the cornerstone of the Blue Collar Psychiatrist, and that is time. The more time that you spend being jealous, the less time you have for self-improvement. In addition, jealousy erodes your self-esteem, it erodes your time, it erodes your feelings of self-worth, it erodes all of the major aspects of life. And what are you left with? You always have to get, again, bottom line thinking. Remember that one? You always have to get to the bottom line. How does jealousy improve your lot in life? The answer is, it does not. It does not change a damn thing, and it only makes you miserable. So then we come back to the question, why are you jealous? And we already have discussed this. So what's the answer? Once we understand the reasons for our jealousy, we can then proceed along a path that is more appropriate in dissolving this corrosive feeling and sentiment that we have toward other people. We have really but one choice, and that is we have to find out what gratifies us. We have to find out how we can improve our lot in life. Now, that may or it may not totally eradicate this illness of jealousy. It may or may not. but at least we're on the right track. For example, if you're jealous of someone because they have more money than you, then you first have to ask yourself, what does money mean to you? Is it a source of power? Is it a source of prestige? What does it mean? You have to sit down with yourself and think about this issue and this example. What does money mean to me? Why am I envious of people who have, or who I think have, more money? I have talked to people about this, people who have been professionals in the self-help movement. And they will say to me and to you that jealousy reveals what you think that you lack. It's really the flip side. You're saying they have all of this, but I don't have very much of that. And therefore, I am jealous. But how does it improve your lot in life? It does not. So what you have to do is to sit down, as I said, and write. You cannot overestimate the importance of journaling and writing down your inner thoughts. And if you do it over time, you will see patterns emerge. I know I've done it for years, and there are still some things that are nagging me. And one of them, very frankly, and I've told you, I'm here to tell you what like it is. I am here to say, I am not perfect. And I'm going to tell you, I am envious of certain people. There's no question about that. And if you know my background, and I'm sure you do because you've been following me on these videos, and you know how I was raised, and you know how I was put down by other people when I was younger. And this continued for many, many years. How many years did I have to deal with being marginalized, being pushed to the side, because I was thought not to be of high enough quality to be a friend, let alone an acquaintance of some other people. I remember telling you about the doctor's dining room at a particular hospital and how I was shunned, ignored. There was one guy, though, however, one doctor who unfortunately has passed away, who was very nice, very kind, a decent human being. But the rest had their own little clique. We talked about cliques before. They had their own little clique, and no one was allowed in that clique. There was no such pronouncement, but you knew where you stood. And all the things that I mentioned at the beginning, many of those things that I mentioned, of the things that people are most jealous of, always seem to be the ones that come to light. So how do you deal with that? You've got to sit down, and as I said, you need to journal. And journal these things until you finally understand why. You just have to ask, okay, why am I jealous? Then once you get the answer, then you're going to have to ask yourself, why am I jealous today, for example? Or why am I jealous? Why have I been jealous for years? Why can I not drop this jealousy that's hurting me? What is it? What's in it for me? I remember a lot of times, by the way, jealousy can come out as hatred. And I remember I suffered from that for a long time. And a friend of mine at the gym, we had a discussion one time. I knew him, and I hadn't seen him in many years though. But he said to me, "What is all this hatred doing for you? What's the advantage? What's in it for you?" And I thought about that. And it almost gives one a feeling of entitlement, that I am entitled to what they have, what these other people have. These people of whom I'm jealous have much more than I do in many areas of life. I'm entitled to that. Why shouldn't I be? How can I sit there and watch all these people come in one after another, one girlfriend after another, one boyfriend after another, the finest of vacations, the finest of homes, the finest of children, the finest of spouses, all these things. It's very difficult if you got two eyes and a brain not to be envious and ask, why not me? And what happens again is you become angry, you become envious, but it is a corrosive way of thinking. And that's why I say we've got to get back to the bottom of this. Why am I jealous? Who am I jealous of? What do they have that I think I don't have? What is in it for me? And that is really the bottom line question. As my fellow at the gym told me or asked me, he said, Larry, you mentioned these people that have treated you in a very shabby way. You've mentioned this to us many times, and you seem to be obsessed by it. What's in it for you? What is in it for you to continue to beat yourself up about what other people or what you think other people have? What's in it for you? What advantage accrues to you by continuing to be jealous? And I think you have to ask that ultimate question and answer it. Now, you may need behavioral therapy. That is very possible to review this. But do not get, as I've told you before, do not get ensnared with months and years of traditional psychotherapy. I think a behavioral therapist is more than adequate to deal with these problems, is to teach you to be aware of what the issues are and to how to change your behavior and your thoughts. And that's the key to this whole thing, is changing your thoughts. How do you change your thoughts? How do you dismember this whole corrosive bailiwick, if you want to use that word? How do you get rid of it? How do you dismember it? And that's really what it comes down to. So it comes down to, as I said, I'm going to review here. It comes down to what's in it for me to be this way, to be jealous, and why am I doing this to myself? What's the bottom line here? What's the advantage for me to be jealous? There's got to be one. We've invested years and years and years of being jealous. There must be something there that we don't see, or maybe we're true masochists. That's very possible. I don't know. I don't see it that is that common in my practice of psychiatry, but it is a possibility. We have to come to understand what's in it for us. Once we can understand that, and once we can answer that question honestly with ourselves, then we will be on the way to solving this horrendous self-abuse. And that's really what it is. You're not harming these other people who you believe have all these goodies of life. You're harming yourself. And that is a major, major problem, but one that can be solved. Please answer that question. What's in it for me? Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you to drink and drink abundantly from the fountain of life. See you next time.